Remember those high school counselors who made picking a major feel like choosing your eternal fate? Yeah, me too. But I discovered a few simple things that completely changed my perspective. Forget everything you think you know about adulting, because it turns out you don't have to know all the answers or have your life perfectly planned to live happy. I'm gonna share a few pieces of wisdom that I wish someone had taught me in my 20s. Or even before that, really. Don't worry so much about everything. I realize it's easier said than done, and I'm working on this to this day. But if you're a person who intuitively lean toward becoming worried about most things, big or small, the earlier you start working on that behavior, the better. I remember a saying from the TV series How I Met Your Mother when Lily and Marshall had a baby and they implement the 8 or higher rule. Now, I don't tell my friends they can't come talk to me unless it's extremely important, but I do have that saying in the back of my head when my mind starts racing on other things. Like, oh, but I can't buy that. What if it's not as useful as I think? Or I can't use it in a way that is purposeful? Or can I really say no to this thing? Is it mean? Am I selfish? Or fuck, I'm exhausted and I don't feel like cleaning the house, but it looks like all hell has broken loose in here. I really should. If the thing isn't an 8 or higher, I close my eyes and envision myself putting the thing in a box and up on a mental shelf to be taken into consideration later. You're allowed to change your mind. Actually, you should assume that you'll change your mind about a lot of things, but thinking that the decision you make now is final will paralyze you and bring so much anxiety to making a choice at all. I remember when it was time for me to pick what I should study in gymnasiet, which I guess is like high school in the US, and how all the adults made that into such a big decision, like it was gonna shape my entire future. Talk about doomsday feelings. I really don't remember there being any joy in that whole process. I knew I wanted to study something I enjoy doing. Something with focus on visual expression and creativity, but all I ever heard was that it was gonna be so hard, impossible even, to find a job afterwards. But I actually stuck to my beliefs then and studied media and filmmaking, and those 3 years were just baller. Did I get a job afterwards? Sure. Not in the media industry, but that I got later on. But I lived well, both during those 3 years and after my studies. Most decisions we have to make isn't an end-of-the-world decision. Pick something that seems good based on what you know now at this moment, or something that's interesting, and just go with it. You can always change your decision later on. Invest your money. You don't have to be super interested in the whole investing money thing, but place your money where they can grow and put up a savings plan. I know it sounds so freaking dull, but it's totally worth it. Imagine you start saving $50 or something every month and get about 6 or 7% interest on that. Historical interest is not a guarantee for any future interest, so, do your due diligence. Is $50 too much? Pick a smaller number, but just do it. Don't even ask if you feel like it, if you feel like putting the money away. Just do it. Nowadays, it's incredibly easy to get started saving money, all automated, with interest. You can check out apps like Avanza, for example. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not gonna recommend anything or give you any advice. Just check out what could work smoothly for you. Especially if you're a woman. Get your money in order. There's so much empowerment in that. Stay in touch with your essence. This one might sound a bit tacky, but I feel like it's a very important point to remember, and that I wish I had remembered to live by more in my 20s. It's so easy to get sucked in with what everyone else, or at least the people close to you, are doing. And I'm not talking about thinking of yourself like a fragile little snowflake that you have to cradle ever so carefully all the time. Just stop once in a while and sit with the question, do I want this? What do I want? Just thinking about me as a 21-year-old sitting with those questions makes my whole body full of uncomfortable feelings. My younger self is screaming back, I don't know! But remember that even if the answer is, I don't know, it's also an answer that should shape your next actions. Explore, be open-minded, see what you see. Google Carol Dweck growth mindset and you'll have a decade more of that kind of thinking under your belt. You can never have enough of that. On this note of staying in touch with your essence, don't take yourself too seriously and understand, like really understand, that the things you value and enjoy doing will probably change many times during your life. Try to enjoy yourself and tag along for the ride. Don't resist the unknown. Trust that with action comes payoff in one shape or another. I have always struggled with a part of one's life journey that is unknown, which is kind of dumb because really most things are unknown. I mean, statistically, one scenario is probably more likely to happen than another, but still, the chance/risk of that other scenario becoming reality is never zero. But all through my life, I have been an expert in convincing myself that I have way more control over stuff than I actually do. That the choices I make are the safe ones. If you can, just let that shit go. And if you can't, work on it. Do the work. Of course, if there is an obvious dumbass option when faced with a decision, maybe don't pick that one. The unknown might feel scary, and if you're anything like me, you also wear away from it because you don't want to appear irresponsible or reckless, as if people in general concern themselves with that for even 1 second. Other than maybe your mom. When we resist the unknown, resist risks at all costs, how will we ever learn? Or feel like we really lived?